Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 8 Plus and compare it against the iPhone 6s Plus and see how both these phones compare in 2023. Now, I really don't think anybody's going to be purchasing these phones anymore, but if you plan on upgrading or if you're just curious to see how these phones compare, let's go and see it. Now, if you want to pick up some phones I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, you can definitely tell that there are some similarities. There was a white model available of the 6s Plus, which looked a lot more like my iPhone 8 Plus, but the 6s Plus came out back in 2015. And this was a phone that I ended up using personally, and I had an amazing time with this phone. It was a pretty big upgrade in my opinion, coming from the iPhone 6 Plus, and the speed was better. It looked almost identically the same as the previous phone, but I will say I think Apple did a pretty good job during that time, and I still think even now, it still performs kind of decent. It got several versions of software which I was not expecting this phone to get, so that was another crazy thing that happened. But regardless, it's still a pretty decent phone, 5.5-inch display on the front as well. The iPhone 8 Plus, on the other hand, came out in 2017, so it is a 2-year newer phone than the iPhone 6s Plus, and I think this was a pretty good phone that Apple made during that time. Of course, it got overshadowed by the iPhone 10, but it looks almost identically the same as the iPhone 6s Plus, although slight differences. I think the screen is a little bit better, but also the home button is now a vibration button. It was a hardware button that clicked in on the 6s Plus. This one was a vibration motor. So it looks like something like this could be end up coming back on the iPhone 15s, but on the front, there's definitely a lot more similarity than there are differences. On the sides, you can see a few differences as well for the most part. For one, we still get the same type of styling, but I think you get more color selections on the iPhone 8 Plus. I think on the iPhone 6s Plus you got black, or you got space gray, you got white. I think you got pink too, but I do like this color that we had on the iPhone 8 Plus. Lightning port on the bottom, no headphone jack on the iPhone 8 Plus, where the 6s Plus still had it, which was really cool. The iPhone 6s Plus was actually the last iPhone, I think, or one of the last iPhones. Actually, the iPhone SE first gen was the last one to have a headphone jack. And on the back, we are getting our glass back on our iPhone 8 Plus. Mine is very, very cracked. With the 6s Plus, you're getting this aluminum back. So I think both of them look pretty good. There's not like a crazy amount of complaints here. But I've always said that the iPhone 8 Plus, with its glass, as soon as they brought the glass back, that was one of my favorite things they did, and I'm so happy they kept it because glass definitely looks so much better than the aluminum. But I will say aluminum, if you drop it, it's not going to crack. So there's like one feature here. You have a single camera setup up here, dual up here. You have wireless charging on the iPhone 8 Plus. You also have IP certification on the iPhone 8 Plus. With the 6s Plus, I think actually brought it. I actually don't remember. Maybe it had a water resistance, but the iPhone 7 definitely had it, and the iPhone 8 Plus definitely has it here too. So in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up. Definitely some overlaps, some similarities, but a lot of differences as well. Now, in terms of software and longevity, this is clearly one of the bigger problems I would say that we're having on something like the iPhone 6s Plus. This phone, it's not really supported with software. Like it kind of is right now, but it kind of isn't. So it's not going to be lasting that much longer. It's going to be basically getting the software updates on iOS 16 or on iOS 15. It's basically going to be getting the software updates on iOS 15, even though we're on iOS 16 and iOS 17 is probably going to be coming out in the next few months. So in this specific example, it's not really in the best situation. It's not a big deal, but it's one of those things that if you wanted to still be supported with software and get all the new features that are coming out, the iPhone 8 Plus is going to be the better one in that example. So that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 6s Plus has that Apple A9 chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 Plus has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. Hopping all the apps in the background, let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of the same thing. Let's go and hop out of here. Let's do music 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 8 Plus definitely far faster here. iPhone 6s Plus a little bit slower. Let's go into settings 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Hopping out of here. Clock 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same thing. Camera 3, 2, 1. So we're probably going to get a lot of overlap. It's kind of what it's looking like. Let's go and take a photo. Let's go and open up that photo. Okay, very similar type of performance here, which is pretty insane. Photos 3, 2, 1. Very similar. Hopping out of both of these. So we'll get into podcast 3, 2, 1. I think the 6S Plus might have been faster there. Let's go into their app stores. 3, 2, 1. The iPhone 8 Plus was significantly faster here. The 6S Plus a little bit slower. Actually it was kind of a bigger difference, but totally okay. And it looks like they're both kind of a little slow here. Seems like the 6S Plus definitely takes a longer time to load. I don't even know if that's a Wi-Fi thing. I'm not really too sure why that is the case here. We can try some other apps. I do have a few that are overlapping, so we can try Genshin Impact. 3, 2, 1. Now this is a pretty big game. There's going to be clearly, I think the iPhone 8 Plus is going to be the winner here, but it's going to take a long time on both these phones regardless. So it's been one of those things that, if you're getting an older phone like this, clearly there's going to be some slowdowns and whatnot. So you can see the iPhone 8 Plus did load into it. The 6S Plus just a little bit slower, not the end of the world or anything. And you can see still loading, which is okay. But again, this is going to trickle down to the performance too. So all these little glitches and delays that you're seeing, like now we're getting a low power mode, but all these little glitches and things that you're seeing, it's a pretty big difference. Subway Surfers, 3, 2, 1. And this might be the last one I'll test. I will say for basic applications, if you're just opening them up, you're going to be fine. Camera, music, App Store, there's going to be some slowdown on the 6S Plus, but when you go to these bigger intensive applications, that's where the iPhone 8 Plus definitely kind of shines at. So, take it as you will, but I'm pretty sure that the iPhone 6S Plus is by far the iPhone 8 Plus is by far the faster one between these two. But there are some similarities. Like if you're going through and even here you can kind of tell that the iPhone 8 Plus was faster and kind of less glitchier than the iPhone 6S Plus. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I compare these two. Now, in terms of the cameras on the back, like I said, there was a pretty big difference here in terms of the cameras. So on the iPhone 8 Plus, you were getting that dual camera setup, a wide and an ultra-wide camera. With the iPhone 6S Plus, you were getting a single wide-angle camera. So you have the ability of using that telephoto lens on the iPhone 8 Plus, which is really nice. You were getting 4K video on the back, but you were getting 4K at 60 on the iPhone 8 Plus. And on the iPhone 8 Plus front, I think you were getting 1080p, and the 6S Plus front, you were getting 720p. So definitely some better resolutions and higher resolutions you can film in some cases on the iPhone 8 Plus. Now on the camera side, like I mentioned, pretty good camera when it first came out. I thought it was a pretty significant camera change coming from its predecessor, but nowadays, it's not that great of a camera. You're missing out on that telephoto lens. You're still getting photo mode, video mode, you're getting time-lapse, square mode, panorama mode, but it's not really anything crazy we haven't already seen before. It's a fairly outdated camera when it comes down to it. I will tell you though, with the iPhone 8 Plus, definitely more of a modern camera. For one, it's still supported with software, so you're still getting like newer features around this software, which is nice. But also you're getting the 10x zoom, which is pretty crazy. You don't really have that on the iPhone 6S Plus, but you do have that on the iPhone 8 Plus, which is really awesome. I wish this one had an ultra-wide camera, but I understand why they didn't do it at the time. You have video mode, slow mode, but you also have portrait mode. You do not have portrait mode on the iPhone 6S Plus, but you do have it on the iPhone 8 Plus, which is a really awesome feature. So I'll definitely tell you the camera on the iPhone 8 Plus is far better than what you were getting on the 6S Plus. And to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is the iPhone 8 Plus, I think, is clearly the winner here. This is by far the better camera. This is the better phone in general. The only area this phone's probably not winning in is like price per value or something, because the 6S Plus is a much cheaper phone. But the iPhone 8 Plus is a very, very good quality, solid phone, and it only makes sense to go ahead and buy a phone like this. So by far, I would recommend buying an iPhone 8 Plus over the 6S Plus, but I wouldn't even recommend buying this phone that much. I would recommend buying an iPhone XR or iPhone 11. That is the phone I would recommend buying for sure. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Zolan.